As promised yesterday, we're going to talk about kidneys today. I know it's something that's super important. There are so many things that are important, right? Heart, liver, kidneys, those are all top things that we all worry about and need understanding of what's happening. So we're going to go over a number of those issues between insulin resistance and your kidneys and why it's actually the top predictor, insulin resistance, for kidney failure. So if you have insulin resistance, you need to understand, and I'll go over this again, that you're 50% more likely to have kidney failure than someone without insulin resistance. And by the time we link into the old cues that people talk about for understanding that you have kidney disease, you've already done so much damage that it's hard to deal with, right? So what we're going to talk about today is I'll get back to insulin. We're going to get back to insulin resistance really quick so you can understand that. We're going to link how insulin resistance is dealing with your kidneys, what your kidneys do, and why this link is so important. And then guess what? In all the study that you guys have me do, which I absolutely love, I found a new calculation for you. It's a little more complicated, but it's going to give you a much better idea of how insulin sensitive you are, or if you need to be addressing things. So I've given you a calculation before. I'll give you the other calculation. I'll give you this new calculation. We're going to talk about all things kidneys and insulin resistance. Monday, we will be talking about the liver and gallbladder, which are also extremely important. The kidneys and the liver really affect our health, and they're the biggest filtration systems for insulin in the body. So let's dive in and start going over all of this stuff between kidneys and insulin resistance. Ask questions. That's the best way. And look, if I don't know, I'm not going to tell you that I know. I'll go find answers. And today, the information that I'm talking about comes from Dr. Stan Ekberg and Dr. Benjamin Bickman, who have done their research. And Dr. Stan Ekberg was relying on a lot of information from a journal of physiology, and both of them looked through scientific papers at the NIH and whatnot. So that's where this information comes from. I don't claim to be the know-it-all, be-it-all. I'm just finding information and bringing it to you guys because that's what I love to do. So let's dive in. First of all, I'm a woman who got really sick and was having kidney problems, liver problems, diabetes, all the stuff. And my health is so much better now. We're going to talk about that solution too. So insulin resistance, you guys understand, and it was Stan Ekberg talked about it in a way that I really hadn't heard before. And so I really liked it this morning. What he was talking about is that it's an adaptation, right? I've never used that term. When we have insulin resistance and diabetes, what our body is really doing is adapting to the fact that we have inundated it with sugar. So if we're saying, when people say, oh, you can't reverse diabetes, none of that's true. That Stan said not 100%, but close to 100% people could be reversing this. We have to understand what caused it so that we can address that. If you do something that causes you injury, you learn that doing that thing is going to cause you injury, right? Does it mean that you're that injured person the rest of your life? No. But does it mean that you're less likely to have that because you've learned how not to deal with the injury? The analogy Stan used that I really like, and I'm going to get into insulin resistance a little bit deeper, then we're going to switch over to kidneys, is he said with insulin resistance, with diabetes, with kidney disease, what doctors are doing when they give you medications, what they're doing when they talk about diabetes in relation to this is if you switch the word diabetes for the word dirty floor and say that, hey, we're going to address your dirty floor, these medications are going to either allow you not to look below your knees so you don't see the dirty floor, or they're going to clear enough of the pathway so you can walk through the dirty floor, but the dirty floor is not really cleaned up either way, right? That's what medications are doing, and it's important to understand that. What we really want to do, what I want to do, and the people who generally tend to listen to me want to do, is to understand the root cause and fix that at the root so we're not just blinding ourselves to the dirty floor. Meanwhile, we still have a dirty floor we're going to trip over. It's causing all kinds of other problems, right? We need to understand the root cause. So if insulin resistance, which is the precursor to diabetes, is just adaptation to the sugar, of course, we need to understand that we need to slow down on all the sugar we eat. That means, the processed sugars, so Colette has a question, all of that stuff. But we also need to understand, and listening to another doctor who I love, happens to be a plastic surgeon of all things, but I caught him talking about insulin resistance and how it's damaging your skin. So if you guys want me to do a talk on that, let me know. We'll do one on that next week. But same kind of information, what he said, when I talk about how our food is imperfect, how it's been so changed, he had resources from papers where they show that there are specific nutrients, especially proteins. I wrote it down, vitamin C, protein, and iron, that are 50% less in our foods than they were 50 years ago. That's just 3 of the nutrients. 3 of the nutrients are more than 50% less in our organic foods than they were 50 years ago. So when I'm telling you that we're having foods that are changed, and it's not just the modification, it's the depletion of soils and whatnot. So we're going to go into all of that later on, but I want you to understand our food is driving the problem. We're not getting as much nutrients from it. We're not getting the right nutrients, and our bodies are having a hard time dealing with this new nutrient, not nutrient dense, nutrient deficient food that we're eating. So what's happening is we're packing it on as fat. We're having all these other issues go on. So increase in sugars in our system because fibers have been stripped, nutrients have been stripped. Now those foods are converting into sugar too quickly is one side of the problem. The other side is that we eat too often. Eating every 2 hours is causing a huge problem for us. We don't need to eat every 2 hours to keep our metabolism going. Do you know that in throughout the history of human beings, how did our ancestors survive all those lean times and all those times where they went hours and days without eating before they found, like for me, I'm Native American, before they found another deer or elk or whatever. I used to hunt, by the way. I don't anymore. But how did we survive those days and times if we had to eat every 2 hours to keep our metabolism going? There wasn't an obesity problem. There wasn't a number of these other problems. Deaths were caused by natural causes, infections, injuries, wars, whatever, but it wasn't food-borne stuff. We didn't have insulin resistance. We didn't have these kidney disease and liver disease and all this stuff. 5 small meals a day, Carrie, that's like, ask your doctor for the proof, scientific proof of how 5 meals a day is going to help you lose weight. I heard another person talk about this the other day. Like when they say you need to slow down and eat 5 small meals a day, most of us are eating 5 small meals a day anyway because we're snacking all the time, right? So did that make you thin? If that was true, how many of us would be super thin? Like all those years that I bought into the eat every 2 hours, all those years that I was doing all that, trying to have smaller meals, and I'm eating every couple hours, I should have been real thin, right? Instead, I ended up packing on over 270 pounds. I'm now down to about 210, so we're good, right? But how would that be if that was true? How did that happen? And it wasn't an excess of calories. I used to track everything that went into my face, worked out really hard, still was having a hard time, still competed at a world level in a super heavyweight division because my weight wouldn't come off. It has to do with the hormones. Yeah, no, I was doing keto though. I was doing very low carb and high nutrients. So one of the other things, I don't know if I'll have time to get into today, but I'm going to drop this really quick. We have to stop focusing on calorie count alone and start focusing on nutrients. Okay, so I'm not telling you can go out and eat 5,000 calories of nutrients and be thin, but I'm also telling you that just counting those calories and reducing calories is not going to cause you to get better. You have to have nutrients, right? So my diet right now is highly focused on proteins, fats, and fiber. So the biggest 2 things that I focus on right now, and my stomach is flattening, I'm doing better with all the markers that we're going to get talking about, but is I'm trying to get in 30 grams to 40 grams of fiber a day and 150 or more grams of protein a day. Do I count calories in that? Nope. I'm focused on getting those nutrients in. And I have to eat a lot to get that in. So that's tough. We'll deal with that later. Insulin resistance. Again, we're resistant to insulin because our bodies just put out so much that one thing is happening. We're not able to put out enough insulin at some point. A couple of other things are happening in our cells are becoming resistant to the insulin. And as they do that, it stores it as fat. But the other thing that's happening, now we're going to start leaning into kidneys, right? The other thing that's happening is since the kidney filters and allows reabsorption or pass-through of nutrients, as the kidney is inundated with these sugars and can no longer recycle them for you to use as energy, it starts spilling out in your urine. Now your kidneys are insulin resistant and they're not able to do their job as well. Now you're having all of this excess sugar that's causing damage. I knew how, but ate meat too. Yeah. So I eat meat as well. You guys, I was listening to a lady this morning and sorry, I shut it off as soon as she said that because it just doesn't resonate with me. It may with some people, but there's a whole group, right? There's this group of you got to get rid of meat and only eat vegetarian, or you're not going to get rid of your insulin resistance. The meat's causing all the problem. And yet there's a lot of scientific papers that are coming out that saying red meat is actually really good for diabetes. I choose to be down the middle road. How did my ancestors live on foraging and hunting and not have all these problems? If you're telling me I have to live on plants alone, my ancestors probably would have died. So do I eat meat? Yes. Do I eat vegetables? Yes, I do. So I probably could use eating more vegetables. I just can't get them all in. So that's a whole other topic. But kidneys, and actually, so it brought up a thing for me today too. We'll talk about protein in your kidneys in a bit. Got to get your kidneys functioning better before you can start diving into this large amounts of protein that I'm doing. That means for you, you're going to have to really watch your sugars. Okay, I have notes because you guys, I'm just a normal human being, right? I'm just like all you people, and I have been sitting listening to all this stuff, but I can't in any way remember all of it in one night. So we're going to talk about the kidneys and their processes because that's super important to understand why insulin resistance is affecting them. Okay, so your kidneys, you guys, some of the things they're doing, and I'm going to read from my list. They're eliminating waste products. They're eliminating excess fluid. That's two of the jobs they do. So if you're having edema, and this leads into neuropathy. So if you're having swollen places on your body, your kidneys are probably suffering. Your kidneys can't get rid of the water. There's a couple of actions that are happening with that, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Some of the other things that your kidneys do, they're helping with your pH balance in your blood. I want to dive into that a little bit deeper. They're helping you with electrolyte regulation. They're helping with the production of red blood cells. And when you think about red blood cells, you want to think about the body's need for oxygen. If there's not enough oxygen internally, your kidneys are going to cue to your bone marrow to produce more red blood cells because they carry oxygen. So if the kidneys aren't functioning, now you're in a hypoxic state inside your body. And now you're starting to suffer from other diseases and disorders. And yes, cancer risk goes up when you are not getting enough oxygen. Kidney health is super important. If your kidneys are suffering, everything else in your body is going to start suffering. So your blood pressure is highly linked to your blood pressure, your kidney function. I've talked about it in how it reabsorbs salt and water into your system. That's increasing your blood pressure, but your kidneys are also kind of telling your heart how quickly to beat. And if they're not functioning properly, that can go awry in many ways. So your kidneys have a lot of functions, and we're not done yet. So the filtration of water is one, but bone health is the other. Now, with the kidneys and insulin resistance and pH and some of these things, your urine is probably the most acidic fluid in your body, and it's supposed to be. What happens with insulin resistance is that it starts reducing the acidity in your urine, and now your urine is becoming more alkaline. As the urine becomes more alkaline, It's holding on to more calcium, and calcium is what's creating kidney stones. So eventually your kidneys are holding on to too much calcium. That starts forming stones. If your urine pH is too high, you're at risk of forming kidney stones because that calcium is not either being reabsorbed or it's just kind of hanging out in your kidneys. So insulin causes a problem with that, right? Right? Okay. So I don't want to go over this too fast, and I get all excited and I go too fast. So I'm internally reminding myself to slow down, and you guys can do that too. Say, hey, Misha, slow down a little, because I get going pretty fast sometimes. So I want you to understand that. So we're talking about all of those things, but there were some other notes I had that I wanted to go over. Yeah. Oh, okay. That was the other thing. We're going to go over, so all of those things, we're going to go over some signs. I'll tell you some signs of kidney distress, right? But these are signs that are happening when your kidneys are already distressed, and now there's probably some damage already done. But these are the signs that you're told that you're having problems with kidneys. One of them is, how many of you guys have been told that, yeah, that's a sign, Jules. That's a definite sign. We're going to talk about what the number one indicator is, the number one early indicator before all of this stuff happens that you can start addressing is, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But understand, when we have too much sugar in the system, the kidneys can't filtrate it all out. Now they've become insulin resistant, and either it's going back into your bloodstream or they're just getting rid of it. Now the sugar in your urine is going up. The sugar in your blood is going up, and you're diabetic. Your kidneys are already at risk when you get the diabetes diagnosis, okay? So how do we get there? How do we understand before we get to diabetes, before we have all of this kidney stone, kidney failure problem? So some signs, and these are late signs. You guys, this is crazy that these are late signs. These signs mean your kidneys are already suffering. Okay, if you're having fatigue, excess fatigue, some of that fatigue can be adrenal related. So we're going to have to learn the difference between adrenal fatigue, and yes, I'm going to use that, and kidney function, right? But fatigue is one. Poor sleep is another one. Poor appetite. If you're gaining weight, but you really don't have an appetite, what the heck is going on? How do I get, so this information is on my YouTube channel. This is streaming live to YouTube and Facebook, and so my channel's there. These videos are there, and you can get the information that's missed there. I'm also working on how to get some of these clips on to TikTok as short videos. But I do have a YouTube channel, Brilliant Health with Misha. Go there. All of the videos, everything I do lands up there, and it's an easy place for you to find it. Okay. So we're going to talk about how to slow down or reverse it in just a second, but I want you guys to understand the signs. Yeah, and the doctors say, oh, you're fine, because by the blood work they're doing, it looks fine, and that's all they care about is those numbers. You want to find a doctor who takes your symptoms and understands the numbers and combines the two for your diagnosis, not just solely, I'm looking at the numbers on a piece of paper, I'm not hearing you because this is the only thing that matters. You know what? Oftentimes doctors think we're all hypochondriacs because I worked in medical offices for years. I dealt with a number of people who were maybe hypochondriacs, but probably most of the people we dealt with were just people who were like me, frustrated, having all these things and nobody was fixing it. And the doctor's like, there's no way this could all be happening to you. And I'm not looking at all these things. So we're going to just look at the numbers because that gets rid of the chatter. Find a doctor who can listen to you and your symptoms and look at the numbers at the same time. That's super important. Swelling is one. So fatigue, poor appetite, poor sleep, increased urination. Now this one I want to stop a second because if you're a super hydrator like me, I've always been, it gets difficult. Am I getting up in the night to pee because I drank water just before bed? Or am I getting up in the night to pee because I have nocturnia, where I'm just needing to pee all night, where my body's just trying to get rid of this stuff? For me, it's probably more that I drink a lot of water, and I drink a lot before I go to bed. I don't wake up every hour, every 2 hours with my body dumping stuff. I wake up maybe once in the night to have to use the restroom because I drank so much water before bed. Understand that nocturnia is different, and you need to understand, are you drinking a lot of water before bed, or is it really you didn't drink a lot of water and you still have this urgency to pee? That's a problem. If you start having blood in your urine, your kidneys are overproducing those red blood cells, saying there's not enough oxygen, you're having, or they're not able to redistribute those blood cells and it's coming out in your urine. That's a problem with the kidney filtration. And then I can't even read my own writing. I'm like writing as quick as I can this morning to try to remember all this. If you have foamy urine, if you go to the restroom and your urine isn't like just clear and yellow, I mean like clear as in not hazy, and it's actually kind of foamy, that foamy urine, if you pee and you see this little foamy bubbles in your toilet, you have protein in your urine, that's a sign of kidney failure. Okay, so that foamy urine, go get checked. Start fixing it now. Start addressing your insulin resistance. Start taking care of your kidneys. Edema, yes, somebody said swelling. So edema, especially if you have swelling around your eyes, that's a sign that your kidneys are failing. If you're having itching and muscle cramps, those are signs that your kidneys are suffering. If you just have this weird random itching and you're waking up with muscle cramps, I was doing that when I was diabetic all the time, every single morning, had no idea that it meant my kidneys were starting to fail. Those are problems, right? But those are all late stage symptoms. Those are all late stage, this is what's going on and your kidneys are failing. We need to understand earlier what's happening. And Colette, I see your message. I'm going to get to that. Mind blowing, right? I know, you guys, I love when you guys give me this stuff to learn because I'm sitting here like, holy cats, I learned so much to answer this question for you guys. Yeah, so you don't have to do all the doctor's appointments and testing. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. Just hang out, and we're going to talk about some ways you can do it on your own, some tests and ways you can tell. And I'm going to give you some tests that do require blood tests that you don't always have to do that, okay? We're going to talk about symptoms that are going to tell you if you're insulin resistant, and all of that. I do want to address this one question because Colette asked this. I'm not a doctor. I'm a woman who got really sick. I happen to love science. I happen to love learning those things. I was studying to become a doctor, but it was late in life. And I was like, I fell, I had some injuries, I had some stuff. And I was like, by the time I get this degree, I'm not going to be very viable in the workforce. So I stopped and whatever. I still love the science and I love helping people understand this. So Colette, a long time ago, said, I was newly diagnosed, prescribed metformin, not taking it, now focusing on intermittent fasting, just did her first 16-hour fasting. Yay! We're going to talk about fasting and how important that is in a little bit. You need lots of water, low salt, sodium, low carb diet with working out. So I'm also going to bring, good morning, Melba. I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to talk to you in a couple of days when you have your system. All right. Salt, you guys, salt. Slow down on the restriction of salt. I haven't got a chance to look at it yet, but Dr. Bickman was talking about the importance of salt, having enough salt in becoming insulin sensitive. I don't have the answers. I haven't been able to dive into that yet. I'm going to look at it. But I know that I don't ever regulate salt. I only regulate sugar. It's on fire. It'll be on YouTube. It's going on YouTube right now. So I don't use white salt I have Himalayan salt, sea salt in my cupboard. Himalayan salt is what I use, but that's all I use. But those salts are really super important. Iodine gets into thyroid and all of that. It's a whole big story, but just understand, right? I use pink Himalayan salt. So understand that salt is super important to your insulin sensitivity. If you're not getting in enough salt, and I don't have the mechanisms why, Dr. Bickman is saying if you're not getting in enough, you're going to have more problems with insulin resistance, right? Good, you guys, I'm glad. Celtic salt, Himalayan salt. Those are all great choices. Okay, so back to the kidneys and some early stage symptoms that you might be starting to have kidney problems before it gets to those bad parts, right? You may crave salt. Yeah, that could be why. I'm not familiar with black salt, Shannon, so I can't answer that, but I would love to look it up. Insulin causes neuropathy. Yes, insulin issues can cause neuropathy. So, okay, two things I talk about a lot, and we're going to go over 4 early signs of kidney problems. Okay, number 1, high blood pressure. If your blood pressure is 130/80, you already know, if you've listened to me before, that you're likely, insulin resistant and that you need to take care of it. But what I've never talked about, and I didn't realize earlier either, is that's one of the top 4 early signs that your kidneys are going to be having problems or are already having problems. High blood pressure. If your blood pressure is on the diastolic, the bottom number 80 or higher, and the top number is 130 or higher, take care of it. Because now it's not just your heart. Now it's not all these other things. It's your kidneys that we're talking about. No, 130/80 is not decent. It is not a good blood pressure. It's not in any way decent. It means that your body is having problems. Okay. So 120 is the top it should be on your top number. And around 70/80 is the top it should be on your bottom number. In the 70s is better. And cabbage is a great food source. Age only matters a bit. We're seeing this in younger and younger people. We've seen it even in children under 10. So this has more to do with our food than our age. Okay. Cabbage juice, I'm never an advocate of juices. You're just taking the fibers out. That's not really healthy for you. Okay. When you're taking the fibers out of your foods, you're causing other problems. Okay. So hypertension is one. If you're in pain and you feel like you need NSAIDs, Tylenol, Advil stuff all the time because you just have this pain, that's a sign that your kidneys are having problems. Plus the NSAIDs themselves are going to cause more problems with your kidneys. I love a Mediterranean diet. Okay, autoimmune disorders. Autoimmune. If we're talking about insulin resistance, and we're talking about how it affects your gut, your intestinal system, your stomach. We've already talked so many times, and I'm going to say it again today for those of you guys who haven't heard it before. A number of your autoimmune diseases come from a diseased, sick intestinal tract. Okay, you got to get your gut healthy. So juice, taking the fiber out, does not create a healthy diet, healthy gut. You have to have fiber. Fiber. I'm going to do a video today on the importance of fiber. Fiber, I'm going to say it 10 more times so you guys all hear me. Fiber. You've got to get in enough fiber, more than 30 grams of fiber a day, and we're not getting it. It's one of the nutrients that's been stripped out of our foods. And even when we're eating healthy, most people are only getting in 10 to 15 grams of fiber a day. I'm missing a lot of comments because they're coming in really fast. So if I miss you, just say it again and I will catch it. Aline, I'm not sure. Again, you guys, I'm just a normal person. So some of these things I'm not a kidney specialist. I'm bringing you the information I brought. So I'll have to look at that, Melba, and see what I can find. You guys are welcome for everything that I bring. Okay, so now, yes, you can supplement the fiber. We're going to get into that. Does kidney disease get better? Yes, it can. If you haven't destroyed them completely, if you haven't killed them off, you can help your kidneys get better. Salad is not the best form of fiber unless you're doing those dark leafy greens, okay? So there's actually not as much fiber in salads as you think. Celery does help with your blood pressure, but the fiber in the celery is key. The fiber in the celery is key. When you're doing all the celery juicing, yes, you're getting the nutrients, but you're missing that piece of fiber that's helping those nutrients to absorb like your body needs them to do. Do you think, how many of you guys think that our ancestors had juicers that they broke down all of our foods into juice and stripped the skins off and did all of that and created juice out of all the foods because it was going to be healthier for them. The same fiber I use has helped me with my constipation. So let's finish up with kidneys, you guys. We talked about hypertension, pain, and your autoimmune disorders showing up. Those can be signs your kidneys are failing. The number one sign of impending kidney failure, and this is according to Dr. Stan Ekberg, is insulin resistance. And we'll talk about all these things. Let me finish up with kidneys, then remind me about skin tags and all this other stuff. I love to go into those things. So insulin resistance. Now, how do you tell if you're insulin resistant so you can get ahead of the game? I'm going to give you some calculations, but I'm also going to give you some symptoms, right? Those skin tags that were just mentioned, that's a sign of insulin resistance showing up in your skin. Those dark skin patches around your neck, under your arms, in your groin, on your knees, on your elbows, those are signs of insulin resistance. PCOS and erectile dysfunction, that's signs of insulin resistance. That high blood pressure is one of the number one signs of insulin resistance. Again, 130/80 or higher. This will all be on YouTube in a little bit. You'll be able to find it there as soon as I'm done going live, and you can probably watch it there live right now too. So, all right, so those are some signs. Now, if you're having headaches, again, the pain, that's signs of insulin resistance. That what they're calling fibromyalgia is some nerve problems in the body, gastroparesis, but those are late stage. So we want to stay with early stage. If you're gaining weight, unexplained gain weight, then that's a sign of insulin resistance. If your belly is protruding, sticking out like you have that alcoholic fatty liver, you got that big belly that looks like you're pregnant, that's a sign that could be telling you your kidneys are starting to fail because it's a sign of insulin resistance first. Now, numbers. If you guys want to get out a pen and paper, I'm going to give you a couple of calculations. Then we're going to backtrack and answer all these other questions, okay? So understand how important your kidneys are. You don't want to end up going to a clinic every 2 days for dialysis. And I didn't even understand the importance of all this till I started doing the deeper looking to help you guys out. They told you had fibro, and I don't. Yeah, fibromyalgia can be a nerve signaling issue. And fibromyalgia is a broad term. This was told to me by one of the doctors that they use when they don't know how to explain your pain. Okay, so insulin resistance can explain that pain. And I will explain more on vertigo as soon as we're done with kidneys, okay? So dialysis helps your kidneys filter when they can no longer filter themselves. At that point, your kidneys are never coming back. And because they can't filter, you have to go in every few days and for a couple of hours be hooked up to a machine that's helping your body, your kidneys filter out all the stuff that's been building up for the couple of days. It's a lifestyle that you cannot get out of once you've killed off your kidneys, okay? So are you still on dialysis? I've never heard anyone come off of dialysis, so I need to talk to you, Carrie, because that's information I would love to know. Itchy skin is a symptom of your kidneys not filtering. Right? A lot of misdiagnosing because they're not paying attention to the root cause. They're just like, look at you guys. My kidneys were failing. My liver was failing. I had diabetes. My eyesight was going. My teeth and gums were bleeding. I've had 3 joint replacements. I lost my gallbladder. I had sleep apnea. I was having cramps. I had high blood pressure. All of the stuff. And so you go in with this list and the doctor's either like, oh, they're just a hypochondriac looking for something. They're overinflated. They're a drama queen, or they're just so inundated with this whole list. They're like, where do I start? So I'm not going to blame physicians in total. And the other thing is they're not educated about insulin resistance in school. So insulin resistance is the number one cause of kidney disease, okay? I'm not a doctor, I'm just a normal woman, and we're going to go over foods and all of that in a minute. So insulin resistance, back to the numbers. You guys, if you have your current labs, I want you to go to your cholesterol panel. We got to get through this. That cholesterol panel is going to have 2 numbers you need to look at. I keep saying I'm going to do this video. I will do these 2 videos today because they're important. Numbers videos. All right. so that you guys can come back and find these videos. Okay, so take your triglyceride number. It should be, it's one of the higher numbers on your panel. Okay, the total cholesterol is the highest. Find the one that says triglycerides, write that number down. Find the one that says HDL. Okay, write that down. Then divide the triglycerides by the HDL. The number you get should be less than 1.5. If it's 2 or higher, you're already having some insulin resistance problems. You're already starting to have heart problems. You're already starting to have probably kidney problems. If it's 3 or higher, you need to address it. That comes from the NIH and from Dr. Bickman, not me. Okay. Do you save and post these lives? They are on YouTube when I'm done, and on Facebook on my Brilliant Health with Misha Facebook page as well. You guys can follow them there. It's really, I'm having problems with getting them be able to be posted on TikTok. Would love to, but we're having issues with that. So okay, we'll cover. You guys keep asking because we're going to get to this in a second. But now the next calculation, one I've never talked about before, because one I never heard before. So when we talk about insulin resistance, the one test that they're looking for is HOMA, HOMA, insulin resistant test. But that test alone is not enough to tell you what's going on with your kidneys. So I'm going to give you some calculations. Again, I will do a video on this because this is going to be hard for most people to remember. And I've got to find those calculations. And again, this is from Dr. Stan Ekberg. So you're going to take your glucose level on those tests, on that metabolic panel. You can add that HOMA IR. I know I wrote this in here. Here it is. All right. I have pages and pages of notes. Okay. So you're going to add a HOMA IR to your complete metabolic panel. Ask your doctor for that. I thought it was more expensive than it is. Dr. Stan said now they can add it for about $20 if you're doing it with one of those, with a complete metabolic panel. Now, when you do that test, then you'll come back and find the video that I'm going to post on this calculation. What you're going to do is take your glucose, multiply it by your insulin number. So whatever that insulin number is and the glucose number, multiply them together. Okay. If you're looking at milligrams per deciliter, you're going to divide that number by 405, 405. The ending calculation should be 0.5 to 1.5. If it's in that range, your kidneys are probably okay. HOMA IR, HOMA, insulin resistant test. HOMA IR, have them add that to your complete metabolic panel. And then you'll be able to get these numbers and start taking a look at your health, okay? So again, this calculation is coming from Dr. Stan Ekberg. He's one of the top metabolic scientists in the world, or a specialist in the world, along with Dr. Ben Bickman. He's another one. HOMA IR, thank you, row reverse. So glucose times that HOMA IR, the number, then you're going to divide it by 405 if you're in America, or if you're in the US and you're doing milligrams to deciliter. If you're doing millimoles per deciliter, so probably just about anywhere else in the world, you're going to take those same numbers, same calculation, glucose times insulin, but now you're going to divide it by 22.5. Again, I'll do a video later and post it on my page for you guys to find that. The same resulting number should be 0.5 to 1.5. If you really want to know, and you can go get that blood work done, that's a test you should be looking at. That test, I believe in, after listening to, and it related a lot for me, that when we're talking about how do I really tell, that test can really help you tell your risk of insulin resistance, and it's an early warning of if you're going to have kidney problems or not. And we want to stop all this unnecessary kidney disease that we're having right now. Okay, so I hope that helps. Do we all understand that? And I didn't even go into how it's causing it. I did talk a little bit about how it's decreasing the acidity of your urine. Insulin is decreasing the acidity of your urine. And we think that's a good thing, right? No, it's not, because then you're having calcium absorption problems. We're going to go over liver disease and gallbladder on Monday, baby gal. Come back on Monday and I'm going to go over liver disease and gallbladder in depth. Okay. And yeah, there's a reason I do detox. It drives me crazy when I go to these other influencers pages and they're like, stop detoxing. You're not going to poop your fat out. Do you think I'm detoxing because of my fat? I'm detoxing because I want my liver and my kidneys to feel better. I want my liver and my kidneys to be like, ooh, I can support this body. I don't have to carry around all this toxic stuff anymore. That's why I fast and that's why I detox. Okay. Good. Welcome in, Sarah. Welcome in, everybody. Carrie, and everybody, let's talk about this really quick as I'm going. We'll get to vertigo here in a second. If you go to my profile up here and tap on it on the picture up above, it's going to bring up a white box. Tap on that white box, takes you to my profile page. In my profile page, you'll see 2 red light symbols right under my picture. Tap on the link below. There's a link to my WhatsApp so you can message me directly, or you can message me on whatever platform you're listening on, Facebook, YouTube. And those of you who are going to watch it later on YouTube, I will put the link over there so you can just find that link later. It's in the profile of every one of my platforms, okay? So, and I would love to talk to anyone who has that problem. I have people, lupus is not something I deal with a lot, so I don't want to speak out of turn with it. I love to go do research so I can speak intelligently about it, but I do know that I have had a number of people who have lupus who have overcome it by addressing their insulin resistance. Okay, so vertigo. We talked a couple of days ago, and berberine to lower your blood sugar levels. I have a better solution than berberine. So, all right, let's talk about it. So many of you guys have asked. Let's just deal with this, and we're going to go back to. I'll write it down so I don't forget. Vertigo. What pen has not been used? You guys have books, pens, and paper all over my house. It's like this wasteland of books, pens, and paper. Okay, so what you're going to do, if you understand that our food is the problem, if you understand that sugar hitting our bloodstream is the problem, this is what I did. We're going to talk about 6 simple steps. I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. We'll hit them again later, but you're going to look at your fiber. You've got to get in fiber. I can't say it enough. There's a great book called Fiber Fueled. Now, he's more vegan. I'm not, but the information in there is amazing. Fiber first. We need to get in 30 to 40 grams of fiber. We're not. We are only getting in 10 to 15, most of us. This is what science is saying. Science is saying this is what's happening. And in order to get that 30 to 40 grams of broccoli, you're going to have to take a basket, like bigger than I can round my arms, and fill it and eat that broccoli every day to get that fiber. Because our foods have been so changed and stripped of these nutrients, okay? Where the soil depletion is one part, and then the modification is another part, okay? Fibers have been modified out of our foods. They're there, but not in the amounts they should be. So we're having problems getting in enough fiber, whether you're eating clean and organic or not, you're still having problems with fiber. So I supplement with a fiber, and I'm going to talk about it in a second. 7 different types of soluble and insoluble fiber. 2 packets raises my fiber intake by 10 grams, but it's not just the 10 grams, it's the actions that they have, and we'll go over that. But what you guys see me drinking here is a tea. I've already had one hot. This one is iced. I've been up since 5 a.m., so I've already drank my hot tea, and I will have another one right now that's iced because I like it. And it's a better choice than soda and whatnot, and it costs me less than soda, and it's giving me this. This tea has antioxidants, anti-cancer properties. It has anti-inflammatory properties. It's heart protective. It helps reduce a heart rate even though it's giving you energy. I'm doing 13 benefits of this tea and you'll find those. I've done 2 today. A third one is going to go up. I have a lot of videos to do today. The tea is amazing. Plus, it's shutting down my hunger. There's a video from Dr. Oh my gosh, I know Huberman, who's talking about the benefits of chlorogenic acids from this tea. So it's giving you mental clarity and energy. It's giving you physical energy. It's shutting down your hunger. It's giving you heart health properties, all of that. I have this tea every morning, and because it's a tea, it's a real food, I can have more than 1 a day. I've had 5 a day when I needed it for energy, okay? That's the tea. I drink that tea every morning. Then, and it comes as a system, then before I eat anything, I will have this packet of fiber. That's increasing my fiber intake. but it's also giving me phytonutrients that have been stripped from our foods. So now I'm getting that balance back in. Berberine doesn't give me all this, right? Berberine doesn't give me all of that. This also has been scientifically proven, this particular fiber, to reduce a blood glucose spike by 20% with one packet. I drink it 10 minutes before I eat. I mix it up in a little bottle of water. I only put about this much water in, shake it up, drink it down, wait 10 minutes, I eat, that's it. Reduces that blood sugar spike by 20%, the insulin spike by 13%. Scientific papers say that it does that. It's great. But beyond that, it's also giving me prebiotics for my gut. So my gut health is building. I'm having a better time with, like you think about things like IBS, Crohn's, all of that. When you get prebiotics to feed your own probiotics, that whole gut health starts to get better. Combine it with some intermittent fasting. Now you have a gut that's like, I love you again. You're doing good for me. I'm not sick anymore. So yeast infections go down, the skin itching goes down, all of that stuff goes down when you get your gut in order. Autoimmune diseases you have less problems with because your gut is in order. So the system is about more than just the blood glucose regulation for me. It's about all the other benefits that it gives me that have been stripped from my food. So I had every one of those symptoms up there 2.5 years ago. I'm not on any medications. My blood pressure is about 112/70 every morning when I wake up now. I'm good. My blood sugars are around 98 when I wake up. Everything is good. I'm not on any medications. The only thing I've done is address the 6 simple steps that I forgot to finish going over and add this into my day every day. Now, this is what my day looks like normally: a tea and then a pre-meal drink before my first 2 biggest meals. That's it. If I have a day where I'm doing something extra, or I'm out celebrating with friends, I'm having drinks, or I'm having whatever else, I'll have an extra one of these because it's food. It's not like those shots that you can only have one a day and now, well, that's it. This is food that's supporting your health, your system, and helping you get better from the root out. You can find it in my profile link. It's the very top link when you open up my landing page. If you have questions about it, message me. There's a whole web page I have there talking about it, but that's the solution for me. Now, the 6 simple steps, and then we're going to get back to, I've seen vertigo so many times. If you're still here, we're going to cover it. So fiber first. I started talking about fiber and I got off on the fiber. Protein, fill up, prioritize protein. We should be getting in about 1 gram of protein per pound of body fat or body weight that we want to be at. So if we're wanting to be about 150 pounds, you need to get in 150 grams of protein in a day. If you're 300 pounds, but your goal weight is 180, you're only looking at 180 grams of protein. How do you do that? With kidney disease, you need to be careful because you're going to stress your kidneys until you start getting more insulin sensitive. You're going to slowly bring that protein level up. Okay. Now, so fiber first, prioritize protein, fill up with healthy fats. I'm going to repeat something again because I just get so, fats are not making you fat. Fats are not making you fat. Sugar's making you fat. Sugar's causing the cholesterol. Those yolks in your eggs, that's not causing your cholesterol problem. The sugar is. So fats you can have. You want to look at 3 fruit fats: extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, and coconut oil. Use them. Use them. I have coconut oil. I don't cook with it as much, but I use it throughout my house. I add it to my tea sometimes. I use it on my skin. I use it. It has great antibacterial properties. It's a saturated fat, but the more science is showing that those saturated fats that I just mentioned are actually helping your metabolic health and helping with the reversal of all of this than not. It's the trans fats that are causing problems. So the fats that are not allowed in my house, or my kids don't have them in their house, are those seed oils like grapeseed oil, cottonseed oil, canola oil, vegetable oil. Those can actually cause inflammation, and the inflammation can cause more insulin resistance. So we don't have those oils. Have you ever eaten someplace and you have gastrointestinal problems after? Maybe you have acidic stomach, or you're using the bathroom really rapidly, or whatever. You've gotten a hold of some oils that are really toxic for you, and most likely, and you need to shy away from those. Am I perfect? Are those completely wiped out of my life? No, because I still eat out once in a while. I'm going to order my favorite dish, which is a fried spinach dish tonight, because I've done a 48-hour fast. Tonight I will end that with this fried spinach dish that I love so much, which means I'm probably going to get some of those fats in that I don't like so much, but until I figure out how to make it at home, that's the way it is. All right, so those fats. Then you want to do butter, ghee, and your animal fats. Stop cutting the fats off your meats. Stop taking the yolks out of your eggs. Stop taking the skin and stuff off of your chicken. Those fats are there for a reason, and you need them. Then you're going to limit your carbs. I saw an interesting thing I want to check into. Somebody was saying how potatoes are really healthy for you, and I want to look at that because if there's new science out, I want to know that. But I'm talking about you want to limit those root vegetables. You want to limit rice grains, so cookies, cakes, candies, and yes, breads, pasta, rice. Limit those. Now, what you need to understand is your fruits and vegetables are carbohydrates as well. So there's a few fruits you want to focus on. You can have them, but don't overindulge in fruits. That's just like anything else. Don't overindulge. The fruits that I love the best for insulin resistance are pears because they're high in those chlorogenic acids. You'll find videos on that and the benefits. And then berries. Okay, fruits and berries. High in fiber, lower on the glycemic scale. Pears over berries because they have the chlorogenic acids in them. But really you can have any fruit. Just don't overindulge them. Don't juice them. Don't break them down. Now you're taking away the fiber that's protecting you from the sugar in the fruit. And and then vegetables, you want to focus on those dark green vegetables that grow above ground. Dark green vegetables. So yeah, broccoli, green beans, those things that grow above ground. Then the last two pieces of those 6 simple steps are do some intermittent fasting. Stop telling your body it has to rely on sugar and insulin for its energy source. It does not. Your body has 2 sources for energy. One is the sugar that we eat, and even your protein breaks down into glucose. So that energy, calories are just an energy measurement. So fat calories are not doing the same in your body as sugar calories. So I don't ever count the fat that I eat. I add fat in to make sure that I'm having it. Those calories I don't count as much. Do I want to eat 5,000 a day? No. But I'm not as concerned about fat calories as I am about sugar calories. Sugar is what's causing the problem. Now, so I do some intermittent fasting. I've done a lot on that. We can go over that again later. Then you want to move your body. Move your body, move your body, move your body. We all sit too much. We're in cars for half an hour to an hour every day, driving to and from work. We're sitting in front of computers every day. We've got to move our bodies. We were not meant to sit like this. I saw a graphic on what human beings will look like in 50 to 100 years, and it was like no muscle tone, lean forward, head leaning forward, which is bad on your spine, all of that because we're not moving and we're leaned into these computers all the time. Put away the devices, go out and move. Walk, if you're gonna walk, put some weight on, wear a backpack, put some weight in it. Do some physical resistance, some muscle resistance, muscle building exercises. It doesn't have to be crazy, heavy deadlifts, but go do something to failure. If you're using light weights, do that. 15, 20, 30 reps until your muscles are like, ow, that hurt a little and I don't want to do anymore. If you're putting on heavier weights, it may only be a few reps, but do some, and there's tons of creators out there who do all about muscle, and find somebody who understands insulin resistance. Actually, there's a guy, I was going to reach out to him, and I'm probably going to start advocating for him on this platform because he's a great physical trainer. He understands insulin resistance. He understands all the stuff I talk about. I would love for people to go to him. I'm going to get his okay to start representing him on my page as well because it's important, right? Those 6 steps. You guys, that ebook is also in my profile link. So it's not just about a sales page. All my other platforms are there. So if you're wanting to find this later, you'll find my YouTube page, which you can watch it on later. You'll find the 6 Simple Steps book, which is free to you guys, absolutely free. And I don't bug you with tons of emails. And I hate that when people do that to me, so I don't do that either. But it's free. Okay, there's a lot of information there. The detox I use is on there too. And somebody asked that, so I'm going to go so much to do. The detox I use is simple. I take some herbal tablets in the morning called Paraway from the same company that does this system. I trust them because everything they do is science-based and studied. and it helps remove the toxins and the parasites from my colon. Now, after taking those, within an hour or two, I'm going to take a whole different fiber supplement. It has like 27 different types of fiber. Again, as I'm stripping out those toxins from my system, I want to put fiber in that's going to feed the good gut bacteria and sweep away those toxins that I just released, right? So you release them, but if you don't give them a place to go, as in out the body, they're just going to start to reattach. So I release the toxins, I remove them with fiber, and then at night I take an aloe vera tablet. It all comes as a kit that just helps my body continue to move all that on through gently. That's the detox I do. I do it right alongside the system. It doesn't change anything about the system except for that I'm adding something in for 30 days. Has changed my gut health, has helped my liver get better and my kidneys get better. My belief, my liver and kidney panels are better between fasting, the system, and doing a detox twice a year. My kidney and liver health look better than they have in over 20 years. Okay. Oh, yeah. Sarah, which test do you want? The one with the triglycerides or the one with the glucose and the insulin resistance? Tell me which one, and I will get back to that. Now, vertigo. First of all, the baby mix. Yes, I like Swiss chard. I like the spring green baby mixes. I like the baby spinach. All of those are great. You guys, the spinach has less fiber and iron in it than it used to have. It's crazy. So that's why I supplement. The fiber I use is part of the Feel Great system. You can get it on my link here. So look, you guys don't go to Amazon, eBay, Walmart and get it because those are not authorized sellers. You're not getting it from the company. You're not getting any of the guarantees. You're not getting any of the coaching. And you end up paying more. So don't do that to yourself. Just use this link. I will be there for you. If you want to hear from me, great. I'm going to be sending you some check-in texts. If you don't want to talk to me, I don't pressure you. But if you need help, I just spent some time on the phone last night with two amazing people who just decided to do the system and helped them understand it, what they need to do. One is diabetic type 2, and we went over their symptoms and stuff and how this can help and all of that. I'm not a doctor. I'm just a person who's trying to help. And if we can use organic only, that's I absolutely advocate for that, but not everybody can do that. Yeah, don't buy Play-Dohs and plastic bags. Okay, 3A kidney disease. If you go to my profile on TikTok, there are some playlists, and in the playlist, I believe I have one up for kidneys. If I don't, I'll get it done. I have a testimonial. Coach Hoyd had stage 3 kidney disease. He started the system. He was able to reverse that stage 3 kidney disease, have normal kidney function now, is no longer looking at having dialysis, okay? So getting the insulin under control is what helped his kidney disease, okay? I'm not claiming that the system I do is some magic cure. I'm saying it helps you with the insulin resistance. And if we can understand how insulin resistance links to all of the stuff up there that's causing all of us problems, then we can do better with our health, okay? So that's where we're at with all of this. Ginger, I think, is amazing for your metabolism. In fact, one of our teas, our tea comes in several different flavors, but this one is lemon. There's no lemon in it. That's just the natural flavor of the plant. This one has some ginger added to it. This is a ginger extract. This is not some powdered, watered down ginger. It's a whole ginger extract, so it has a great ginger flavor. If you like ginger and you like that little bit of heat from it, you will love this lemon ginger tea. I add some chai spices to this once in a while to just switch up the flavor profile, and the chai spices without added sugars, I create my own, will help with your metabolism as well and not break your fast. So if you love ginger, this is a great tea for that. So let's get back down here. All right, vertigo. I'm so sorry. So I'm not going to get into it super in depth. I'm going to tell you a couple of people who got better, including myself. And then I'm going to give you a clue as to why it's happening. And we can go over that more in depth on another live. I just don't have time to get into it this morning. Vertigo. I talked yesterday, and you'll find that video on YouTube, about neurological disorders, about how insulin resistance is causing problems with your nerve endings firing properly, with neurons and how they're firing outside of the normal pathways in the brain. And so now you're having some nerve issues in the brain, which can cause ringing in the ears and it can cause some vertigo. But you're also, because you have insulin resistance, likely to have less energy into the brain. It's affecting your serotonin, your dopamine. I just did a video on these serotonin, dopamine, GABA, and glutamate. It's affecting all of those and how they're utilized in the brain. And so now we have all kinds of problems. Vertigo is a neurological disorder for most of us. So I had vertigo that was so bad, I couldn't explain it to people who didn't have it. Tell me if this is you. I feel like maybe my head is half full of water and somebody came by and shook my head really hard, and now that water is slushing all around and I can't catch my balance. I get, yes, vertigo does stem from fluid in your inner ear also. Okay. So that wasn't the case for me. They checked all of that and they couldn't figure it out, why I was having vertigo. It would be so bad that if I was driving, I would have to pull over, immediately stop. I thought I was going to pass out in my car, whatever. It was dangerous. It actually caused a severe car accident because I coughed and my vertigo went off and it caused an accident. So vertigo, I don't have vertigo issues anymore. Okay, I don't have vertigo anymore. I have a friend in Canada who was diagnosed with Meniere's disease, and they were struggling with how to help her, and she was frustrated. And I finally convinced her to try the system. She started doing the system. Her Meniere's disease went away. Okay, the components in the tea help with brain absorption of those neurotransmitters, of nutrients to the brain, of glucose. Your brain is one of the biggest consumers per weight of glucose in your body. It needs glucose. Guess what? When those insulin receptors are shut down, it can't utilize the glucose it needs. So brain fog, anxiety, depression, and now we end up with vertigo. So is it the only cause to vertigo? No. If you have an inner ear problem or an ear injury, that can cause it, yes. But if you're struggling with how did you end up with Meniere's disease and the doctors can't figure it out, it might just be your insulin resistance. Get the insulin resistance under control. And like for me and my friend in Canada, we don't have those issues anymore. It's so crazy addressing insulin resistance. I had a woman call me a couple weeks ago and she had ankylosing spondylitis, and she was told that was just that was it. She was going to have to live with it. She was given some things to help with it. But after doing the system consistently for, I think it was 5 months, she went in, her ankylosing spondylitis is gone. The doctor said it's either in remission or it's just gone and they can't figure out why. And the only thing she changed was the system I talk about. Yes, mandarins and cantaloupe break your fast. Remember, let's talk about fruits real quick. So how I got rid of my vertigo was by addressing the insulin resistance. If it's an inner ear problem, I haven't dove into how insulin resistance causes swelling in the inner ear, but there are some links to that as well. You can try this. It has a 90-day money-back guarantee. If you get better, yay, right? If you get better from the vertigo, yay, but you're probably going to see a lot of other health issues get better as well, like I did. So, yes, and bluebird sugar can cause cancer. I did a video on that 2 years ago, and I caught so much hell for it. But Dr. Bittman talks about it in his book. Sugar feeds cancer. And let's talk about that, Bluebird, before you head out. I love you. Thank you for bringing that up. You know that paper that came out a while back that said sugar is not linked to cancer? Who funded that? Who funded that paper? The sugar industry funded that paper. Because we're all telling you to stop all the sugar. And who's suffering when we tell you to stop all the sugar? Not your health. But Big Pharma is, and the sugar industry is. Okay? I eat sugar too. We're not perfect, right? But we've got to pay attention to it. We've got to do better with it. We've got to understand that unmediated sugar in our bloodstream is causing a ton of problems. Because she brought up that, I'm going to say this too. I was just talking to my daughter-in-law about this. Ladies, we have 6 times more insulin receptors in our breasts than anywhere else in the body. Now, you combine that with high sugar, insulin resistance, all these other things, you're probably setting yourself up for risk of that type of cancer. Just understand that. Right? Stay away from, I mean, we're all going to have it. Like, the crazy thing is, though, the longer I do this, like cheesecake used to be a big thing for me. We bought cheesecake at Christmas time. Half of it got thrown away because I just don't have a taste for it anymore. There's ice cream in my fridge because my grandson had some dental surgery and he had to eat soft foods and he wanted ice cream. I tried to have a bowl and it doesn't taste the same anymore. When you start detoxing from the sugar, when you start giving your body nutrients, focus on nutrients in, and the two nutrients biggest for me, protein and fiber. Focus on those, and all of those cravings and all of that, it tastes so good, starts to go away. The system, you can find it in my profile. Tap on the link up there, tap on the white box that comes up below, and it's going to bring open my my profile. In my profile, right under the red lights, there's a link. I don't know if it's going to show up. I can try and put it here. Sometimes TikTok lets it pass, and sometimes it doesn't. So you'll find the link there. The system is in my profile. It's a tea I have in the morning and a pre-meal drink before I eat anything. It does cost about $5 a day, you guys. That's cheap, right? Compared to what I was spending on medications. I'm trying to paste something in my phone by using my keyboard on my computer. Wow. Okay. So there's the link again to my page. So Bluebirds, thank you for joining my live this morning. And I love you. So we've gone over most of the medical stuff, you guys. Anything you want me to go into more depth on, I love to do that. I thank everyone who's been participating this week. It's like, it's good for me because I'm learning, and then I'm helping you guys understand by taking all of these hours of information and bringing it to you. So tell me what you want me to go over next. But Monday, I've had so many questions about liver and gallbladder. Monday, when I come back, we're going to go over the liver and gallbladder and how it links to insulin resistance. Understand that on this channel, I'm simply talking about insulin resistance and how it's impacting your health. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a specialist. I'm just connecting the dots. So, yeah, there's products in my, let me see, Jackie, I'll try and message you. Let me follow you and I'll message you directly. So Jackie, okay, I'll try to contact you after the live. So I'm gonna, what time on Monday? I'm here at 8:30. I'm trying to get this live to 8, but next week it's still gonna be at 8:30. 8:30 Monday through Friday, I'm here. And then at the end of the live, we always ask, what everybody wants to go over next. And then I do all the research and bring all the papers together and hopefully do a video and we answer your questions. If you're new, it's okay. We're going to go back over some of the things again. Heart is one of my biggest things that I love to talk about. Kidneys, now that I understand more about, I understood that kidney and insulin resistance was linked, but now understanding the deeper pieces of it, I'm really jacked about how we can help people with kidney disease. And yes, I have people who have overcome stage 3 kidney disease by addressing their insulin with the system. So back pain can be a number of things. Like, I've had my tailbone broken 6 times. I have a lot of back pain. Is insulin resistance going to help this time? The fact that my tailbone's been broken 6 times? No. But is it going to help the receptors, the nerve endings fire more correctly? Yeah. So I used to be on 3 different pain medications, Norco, Hydro, and then I was on muscle relaxers, gabapentin, and then I was taking NSAIDs, and I was cycling through those to manage my pain. I don't take them anymore. Every once in a while, I get a really bad allergy, nasal-driven headache, and I'll take NSAIDs for that. But I don't have to take NSAIDs for body pain anymore, and all I did was address my insulin resistance. So somebody asked, Jeep girl, on my wrist, tattoo. Yes, I have a tattoo. And I don't, I don't regret this tattoo. Do I plan to get a bunch more? No. My dad, who I love very much, was my hero, was my everything, helped me through so much trauma. You guys, I had a lot of trauma as a child. And my dad was the one constant. He had been in the Navy. He had a cross on the front side of his arm. It was just a simple, like, probably done with a needle and some ink, cross that said mom. and it had the date that she died on his arm. So when he passed away, I went and got a cross that says Daddy on it for him. His favorite color was blue. This is supposed to be purple, my favorite color. This is an ode to the man who made me the woman I am. So yeah, I have one tattoo. I hope that was informative for somebody. No, 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 no. You know what? You guys need to know the person I am too. And I don't do, you guys also, I am autistic and I have ADD. So sometimes I go really fast. Sometimes I seem very direct and sometimes I seem curt. It's not that I'm trying to be mean. It's just the way my brain functions. So understand that. And if I say something too quickly, like you guys did this morning, any of that, just let me know. And I understand that I need to adjust to help. And so just know that. Just know that. I love my brain because that's what allows me to sit down and ingest all of the science and bring it back to you guys. Thank you, Jeep Girl. No pain, just tingling in the toes, upper part of feet, neuropathy. So yes, neuropathy is an early sign, and you get neuropathy with diabetes. Diabetes is end-stage insulin resistance. Address the insulin resistance, you can address the neuropathy. Ro, I'm Eastern time zone. I saw you on live this morning, girl. You looked amazing this morning. Your makeup is always like, I'm looking at your eyes and your lips, especially the way you do your lips. I was like, what does she do? You looked beautiful this morning. You always look beautiful. So Eastern time, 8:30 Eastern time. I've been trying to do little videos in the morning to announce that I'm going live so you guys know when I'm going live. And Ro is earlier than me, right? And go follow Ro too. She's amazing. Your arm hurts so bad, feels like you're hanging on by a string. Alicia, which arm is it? And a lot of people say I'm not diabetic. You guys look, I was having issues since my late teens that nobody addressed and nobody knew. And I only was diagnosed as diabetic 2.5, 3 years ago. And then I started addressing it because I knew that my life was going to change drastically. I kept checking my blood glucose. I kept checking those things. I was having all of these symptoms. And because those numbers were good, everybody told me I was fine. I was not. I had insulin resistance causing all of this. I'll try to do a video. Stan Ekberg, I might just replay his video. He did such a great job of explaining how glucose levels stay level while your insulin levels are slowly climbing. You need to understand your insulin resistance can be going up even in the presence of normal glucose readings on your labs. It's a lie. The doctors are not. That's why the other calculation I gave is so important. And I'll do a video on that because I just don't have time to go over that. Extensive blood work. So have them do a HOMA IR, then come back to my page. I'll have a calculation you can now use. You'll be able to do 2 different calculations, and in combination between those 2, you'll be able to see a better idea of if you're having insulin resistance, heart problems, and kidney issues before all of the protein starts to go up in your kidney and the blood starts to show up in your urinalysis. Okay, so get the HOMA, HOMA insulin resistance test added to your complete metabolic panel, and then we'll then come back and find those calculations, and then let me know what they say, Alicia. Okay, so your right arm. So that's important. What I want you to understand with your right arm, and I'm not, how's your blood pressure? So I'm going to relate a story of mine that this was me. I don't want to panic anybody. I don't want to freak anybody out. I don't want any of that. But I relate everything back to the stuff I've suffered with. And here's the thing. Some people say it's complaining. I don't. I was thinking about that all night last night. Like, look, if we don't acknowledge the past, if we don't acknowledge the foundation, we don't understand where we're going, right? Do we want to sit in it and wallow in it? No. But I had heart problems. I had a right arm that was numb and tingling. I couldn't hold a bottle of water anymore. I couldn't open lids. This arm was just like failing. We did all kinds of neurological tests. We did spinal tests. We did all of this stuff to try and figure out why this arm was failing when just a few years before I'm deadlifting 500 pounds. How can I hold onto a bar that has 500 pounds on it? And yet now I can hardly hold on to a glass of water. Well, One of the things we had to understand, I don't have that issue anymore. Look, I don't have that issue anymore. Is that it was driven by insulin resistance and more likely linked to my heart. They weren't catching it. They weren't focused on it. Ladies, we don't have typical signs of heart problems. If your blood pressure is 130 over 80 or higher, in combination with this arm, I'm going to encourage you to check on your heart health. This arm having weakness, this arm having that is often, not always, often an indicator there's something going on with your heart. Check it out, please. In the meantime, understand that insulin resistance links to all of those. Start getting your insulin resistance under control. Okay. Hypothyroidism, I just did some videos on that, and I did a talk on that as well. I can go back over it next week. Mark Fox, I won 4 different world records. I have videos on my Facebook page, go back several years. I pulled 475 pounds in competition at the end of the competition after I already squatted and after I already deadlifted. In the gym, I pulled 500 pounds more than once. So yeah, it's not cap. And thank you for, having people go find my videos now of when I competed at a world level. So it's there. I have nothing to hide from. Okay, so you had high blood pressure and you're now diabetic. If you're on, yes, HOMA IR test, add to your metabolic panel now. I will do the video with those calculations I learned from Dr. Stan Eckberg, adding the HOMA IR to your fasting glucose to tell if you're insulin resistant and if you're having if you're likely to run into kidney problems. So I'll post that up, just get the test done and then come back. So yeah, and the records are there. I set records. Most of them have probably been broken now because I haven't competed in a while. But yeah, I set records in, I didn't ever set a record in deadlift because my good friend Sonia Manana from New Zealand held that at like 525 pounds. It was a goal to break that record, but yeah, I benched close to 300 pounds and I squatted over 400 pounds and whatever. You guys can see some of those videos if you look deep enough, they're there. Okay. So here's the thing, you guys. I was apparently doing enough work to keep the diabetes at bay, but all of these things were still happening. I was still having leg cramps. I was still having vertigo. I was still having all of that. I was doing keto. I was working out religiously, at least 6 days a week, about 3 hours a day. It's no joke training to be a world champion. It is no joke. I didn't just go in and go, oh yeah, I'm going to work out today. No, I had systems. I had coaches. I had like the whole thing. I was stressing my body every day to hit those levels. And that's probably why my diabetes stayed under the radar for so long. But it didn't mean that I wasn't suffering from insulin resistance, because during that time, by the way, my last world championship was won with 2 hip replacements. So kidneys, yes, kidneys are directly involved with your blood pressure. But there's 5 other issues that deal with that. I've done a series of videos on those. We'll cover that sometime again tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, next week. You guys, I do not normally go live on the weekend. If I can drag my butt out of bed in the morning, I'll just do a general live in the morning because my grandson won't be here tonight. With that, before I hop off, please understand, I'm a big advocate for you taking care of your insulin. One of the ways you can take care of your insulin, one of the many ways, is reduce your stress level. Plug into your family. Plug into the love and the gratitude in life. Actually, that's going to help with insulin. Get unplugged from all this stuff. Take some time away. Go actually give your family the time and effort they deserve. I'm going to go to a Cub Scouts Pine Box Derby thing Saturday morning, and my grandson is staying home because of that, so he'll be with me Saturday night. So yeah, we have to de-stress and we have to get good rest. And getting good rest is one of my things. With ADHD, scrolling is a problem for me, and I'm really working on getting like putting my phone down and not scrolling and getting good sleep. And I'm trying to get to sleep earlier, wake up earlier, just wake up, give my body the time to rest. That's going to help with your insulin resistance. Stress and inflammation caused by it can increase your insulin resistance. It's not always just the sugar. So you have to deal with that. Joint pains, we'll talk about that again next week, but understand that getting your insulin resistance under control can help with those pains. That's what helped me. That's the only thing. And I have a knee that was supposed to be, so 2 hips and 1 knee have been replaced before I understood insulin resistance, started addressing the insulin resistance. The second knee that was supposed to be replaced 2 years ago is still the organic native knee, and it doesn't pop, it doesn't click, it doesn't hurt. I can kneel, I can walk up and down stairs, all of that. So it reversed and healed by addressing the insulin resistance. I'll talk about that on another live. I don't really have time this morning. Welcome from Sicily. Yay. So you guys, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is when I generally go live. I try to go live at that time every morning, Monday through Friday. So bring me your questions. Message me the questions. Message me what you want me to go over. I'll do the research. We'll bring it in. We'll talk about it. The food, the SAD diet, the standard American diet, is a huge problem. But believe it or not, the U.S. is only about the 3rd highest in insulin resistance and metabolic problems in the world. We are not the top. We like to be the top in everything. This is one thing I'm glad we're not at the top of, but we're in the top of the list, right? So we're only 3rd. So the tea is called Unimate. You get it in my profile. If you're ordering it from Amazon, eBay, Walmart, any of those offline sellers, you're not getting guarantees from the company. You're not getting coaching. You're not getting any of that. So go to my profile, tap on that link. There will be some red lights come up. When the red lights are showing in my profile, there's a link right under that. That's where you're going to order it. You're going to get help from me. You're going to get connected with me. I'm going to be able to talk to you through all these things one-on-one, and I do that. So that's where you want to get it. Plus, you're going to pay more if you go on Amazon, eBay, Walmart. I've had so many people say, well, I went to Amazon and got it because, we're all Amazon shoppers, and they don't get the guarantees. I didn't get a notification that they purchased it. They were frustrated because they said, I thought you were going to coach me. And I thought you were going to buy from me. Okay. You just recently retired. Here's the thing. I never talk about this part. And I just saw a note this morning. I want to talk about this before I hop off, and I do have to hop off. You guys, there is another opportunity. So yes, I got my health under control, but I've also helped a number of people. I'm almost 60. Okay. I had no financial future. I was worried about what I was going to do and how I was going to make ends meet. Because I'm on here helping people every day. And you see, I'm not super salesy. Okay. That's not my style. Some people are. It's not my style. You do it however you want. But if you do the system and you fall in love with it like I did, and you want to change your financial life and your retirement life, let me know, because we have a plan that's actually really viable and helping people. Rose, one of them, that we've changed our lives financially. And anyway, there's that opportunity as well. There is a little tab on my landing page that says how I make money, and you can too. You can go there and look at what I do and how it's changed my life. 3 years ago, my son was going to move out east with my grandson. I'm going to stop for a while because this is serious. My grandson, I talk about him a lot, but I don't talk about him enough. It's a really, when my kids were born, I was so happy. Like, my kids are normal, they're healthy, I don't have any of this stuff go on, and I'm so lucky and I'm so blessed. I'm still so lucky and so blessed, but my grandson has a very rare genetic disorder that he's 7 now, and most kids with that disorder are gone by the time they're 5. I've been there with him from the day he was born. We're like little soulmates. We're the yin and yang. We're like each other. He knows if I say where you go, he'll finish it with if I say where you go, he'll say you go. He knows I will always be there. But 3 years ago, my kids said they were moving out here, and I'm devastated because I lived in Washington State. I could barely pay my rent. I actually at one point lived in a hallway with all my stuff packed around me when I started this. And within a year, I was able to get enough money to move all the way across the nation, live in an amazing space, be here for my grandson each and every time he needs me. And that's the biggest gift I can have, because we hope that he lives to be 50. But if he doesn't make it to 18, that boy is going to have the best memories I can give him. This has allowed me to do that. This has allowed me to do that. I'm so very blessed. It gave me the health back to be able to play with him. I'm going to cry, but it also gave me the opportunity. I'm not as big as some other people because I focus on my family. I make enough to be able to give them the things they need and have a grandma who's there that loves them. And that's what this product in this business did for me. And I don't talk about it enough. Okay. You guys, thank you, Ro. This can change your life in so many ways. And by the way, when I'm doing this work and when I go to bed at night, I know that I've helped people. I know that I'm getting calls from people whose life has been changed. I know that people with stage 3 kidney disease are getting better. People who had hypothyroid issues are getting better. People who had blood pressure are getting better. People who have Meniere's disease now can be normal. It's helping so much. And if you want to be a part of that, let me know, because I would love to get you in on that side of the tribe too. Okay. Yep, family is important. And he knows, man, if I pick up my phone when he's over, he's like, Nana, what are you doing? So then I put my phone down and I'm like, okay, buddy, I'm back. But you guys, just pay attention to your family. Give yourself that love and gratitude. Focus on the good things in your life. And I will see you Monday. Yeah, you moved. Where are you, Joyce? You said Sicily? Is that where you're at, Joyce? You guys, while Cicely's answering me, all right. So yeah, I thought about that too, but I have to stay near my grandson. Yeah, it's a whole different life. Sometimes it's easy to focus on all the negative things that have happened. This last year was a hard year for me. A lot of stuff happened. But when I sit down and I take a look at the space I live in, at the relationships I'm building with my family, because I'm no longer working 7 days a week. And I don't have to worry that they're going to have to figure out how to take care of me when I retire because mama doesn't have enough money to live. Those are great things. And now, because it's not a burden, my son, we might be moving to Kentucky soon. My son is saying, I want to buy a big piece of land, mama, where I can put you on it and you can be right there, because he understands the synergy of our relationship. And the business has helped me have the time, focus, and energy to really, really build all of my family relationships, which fills my soul. The tea is Unamate tea. And by the way, in my links, if you go to my profile under the red light, there is now a Unamate 2-pack. For the people, it's called a booster pack. The people who love the tea like I do and drink it more than once a day, you can get it in that booster pack at a discount as well. Go there, check it out. The system itself costs about $5 a day to get 2 of the tea. Now the tea itself is a little more expensive. It's a great tea. It's yerba mate tea, but it's highly concentrated, about 375 times more potent than regular yerba mate tea. So what I like to tell people is, people like, I can just go get yerba mate tea. Well, knowing that this is about 375 times more potent, especially in the chlorogenic acids, than your regular yerba mate tea, knowing that it's been purified from environmental toxins, pesticides, and whatnot. Now think about that. You go to the store, you buy bagged tea, and you steep even 30 bags of that tea in a day. You're getting excess pesticides. You're not getting the potency of this, and you're spending more money. So Joyce, it's just, if you tap on my profile picture above, I don't know, did this link show up in when I put it in? It doesn't often, but the links are, if you find me on YouTube, you'll find it there. I don't know if that link showed up. So on TikTok, oh, Melba on Facebook lives in Kentucky. You live in, you're in Tennessee, but very, yes, I would love to meet someday. You guys, my goal is when we get moved and life is more settled, I want to be able to start doing in-person meetings with people and helping and just, get out. I love the comfort of my home, so I don't get out enough. Anyway, the link on the tea is the second one down. So if you go to my profile, tap on my picture right here, the white box that comes up, tap on that, you'll get my profile page. In my profile page, there's red lights, red light symbols. Right under that's the link to my link tree. And when you open up my link tree, let's just look at it, okay, guys? So let's just look at that real quick. And then I am going to hop off. You guys, I want you to understand something. When you guys all tell me thank you, I need to say thank you because, man, my life is beautiful because I get to do this with you guys every day. Wow, you guys don't know what a blessing you really are to me. Just being able to do this and help people every single day is like, I sleep, I will sit down here after this and I will probably break down in a few tears because I'm just so blessed by y'all, and that's real. Okay, so this is where you're gonna go. When you get to my page, yours is gonna be on a white background. See right below these red lights, you tap on this link. When you tap on that, it's gonna take you to my profile page, my landing page. You can tell I'm getting tired. So the Unimate 2-pack is right here, the second one down. So when you click on that, you're going to notice, like if you click on the top one, it's going to take you directly to the company website, and that's how you know whether you're ordering from Ro or whether you're ordering from me. You should see our name at the top, and you're going to see the company. It's important to know you're ordering from the company. With the T, you're going to click on that, and because I didn't want to clutter up with a bazillion links, you're going to go to my page. You're going to have choices between like the lemon combined with the black, the lemon and lemon, the lemon and the lemon ginger. You get to pick the two that you want. When you click on that link, once you've decided, so you want one lemon and one lemon ginger, now it's going to take you right to the company website. Okay, that's where you're going to get the tea. It's right there. I will go over this as well. The probiotics I use, the cleanse I'm using are all here. My website is right here. The free ebook that I've told you guys you can download is right here. All of those of you who are interested in the opportunity, go here and then contact me. I would love to help you have the kind of life I have. And so there's that. There's a ton of information there. Oh, my recommendations, you guys. I just updated this yesterday. I told you yesterday that Dr. Bickman is coming out with a new book. The guy who wrote the book, Why We Get Sick, that I reference all the time, is now coming out with a cookbook and a health book. And it doesn't come out until July 9th. But if you want to pre-order it, you can go here. How Not to Get Sick. I'm kind of sad that it's not coming out until July, but I'll wait 6 months for more information from this man. Okay, now I am going to go because I have calls I got to hop on. You guys, again, thank you for blessing my life and my day every day with your questions, with your input, with your presence. I love this part of my day every day. It's what I get up for. See you Monday. Okay. Have a great weekend. Go plug into your families, and I'll answer questions Monday. Bye, guys. Melba. I want to meet you. You have been such a part of my life and my lives. I am so excited that the opportunity to get to meet you. I feel like moving to Kentucky moves me a lot closer to some of the people that I really want to get to know. So I look forward to it. Let's talk about how we can make that happen. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.